Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy. I do believe this video is going to be out on Friday. I think that's the 5th of February. I'm recording this early, obviously. So today I thought I would take, a bit of a stroll into the world of delusions. And the two people who I want to check out in that world of delusions is Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, and Rudy Giuliani. So Mike Lindell is still going on, right-wing broadcasts, and he's still talking about, the election, and he was still talking about the voting machines, and And it's sad, frankly, it's sad. I mean, it's sad to see somebody who has gone that far down the rabbit hole that they are willing to pretty much risk everything. I mean, their reputations, their business, whatever it is they've managed to accumulate and acquire, to continue this fantastical version of what they think is actually going on in the world. So I want to take a look at him, and then I want to take a look at Giuliani, and Giuliani in particular, because of course it has come out that he was the one behind the fake electorate filings. Okay, so those fake filings from the electors that said, this many votes go to Trump and Pence, except that wasn't accurate. And he was behind that. So, and I don't think he did it all by himself. I guess time will tell if there's more that comes out on that. But I want to take a look at him too, because, it's just another one of those crazy, crazy things where he just put whatever was left of his dignity on the line. And, I don't know. Is he not well? Does he no longer remember what law is and how it works? Or is he just deluded? So that's what we're looking at today. I hope you all enjoyed the pet parade. Thank you so much for my new subscribers. You guys are amazing and wonderful. And I thank you so much, all of you. So, of course, my established subscribers, I adore you. The thumbs up, the comments, I read them all. Brilliant. Thank you. For those of you looking for a private reading, I am currently booking kind of towards the sort of last week and a half of February. So, and before I go on any further, I don't know quite what inspired it, but I have been going through the comments, and so many of my clients for private readings have unprompted gone out and literally written some of the most amazing and wonderful comments about their private readings. And I am touched. I am honored. The one that called it life-changing, I'm not quite so sure about, but if it changed your world, I'm delighted, of course. But so many really beautiful. I don't have like a page where people can leave their reviews and stuff. I think private readings are intensely personal. And, if people want to say, yeah, I got one and it was great, or it was good, or I really enjoyed it, then I'm truly grateful for that. So thank you. You guys have been overwhelmingly generous with your praise. And as always, I am grateful that you trusted me to do those readings for you. All right. Let's start with the pillow guy, Mike Lindell. What's his story? Come on down. Yeah, he actually still thinks that this defamation suit is a nothing. It's a nothing burger, and it's not going to amount to anything. And he's gonna provide evidence, and he's gonna show that what they did, they actually did. It's like, oh my God, give your head a shake, buddy. All right, here we go. Trajectory of Mike Lindell, trajectory of Mike Lindell, trajectory of Mike Lindell. Okay. So this is the thing. What he learned from his association with the right wing, what he has learned from his association with the other guy, the former guy, is that if you keep repeating your message over and over and over and over and over again, even the most ludicrous statement ends up having validity simply because it's being said so often, it's being repeated so often. And of course, all you students of energy work know exactly how that worked, right? The more he said it over and over again, the more that energy built up, the more other people started saying it, they started repeating it, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that's kind of what he learned. And so he's not particularly interested in unlearning that message because, one, he really is kind of in this alternate reality. He is in this place where subjective reality rules. Okay, so what he believes is accurate is simply accurate in his world. He doesn't have any time or any room for anything that conflicts with what he chooses to believe is real and what he chooses to believe has happened. Ultimately, he's going to end up in court, and ultimately, it's not going to go well for him. It is literally going to create a tower moment where everything is going to come crashing down because at some point, you have to provide proof. And he is not going to be able to do that because there isn't any to find and there isn't any to present in discovery. So he sort of is staying in this place right now where he continues to repeat it and repeat it and believe it because frankly, not doing so, well, it's not so good for him, right? I mean, and all he believes is that if you keep on saying it, it will come true. And that's terrific, except for the fact that this is taking place in a court of law and they require actual proof. So I don't really see how that's going to quite work out for him. Okay, so you know what? His message is going to end up continuing to come across almost more and more childlike, more juvenile. It's going to come across as disjointed and not making any sense. It's going to come across literally as delusional because he is now so firmly entrenched with those beliefs and what he thinks those beliefs and those statements are going to bring to him. All right. Let's not forget the devil also represents these two people who are chained together. And so these are partnerships that he has now cemented himself with. These are partnerships that he is so publicly wrapped around that there's not a way for him to, extricate himself and say, okay, well, maybe I was wrong or whatever. He can't do it. He's put so much behind, proving that things were fake with all of these audits and they're not, and they weren't, and they can't find anything. What he has going in his favor at this time continues to be that there is that percent. I mean, do you realize something like 70% of Republicans now believe that the election was rigged? So that number, I do believe, has actually grown from a year ago from the election. So what this is about is these people who still believe as fervently as he does that the truth is the truth. Okay, now let's not freak out, because while 70% of Republicans can think that maybe something a little hinky went on with that election, despite the fact that that claim has been refuted 7 different ways from Sunday. But that doesn't necessarily mean that 70% don't think Joe Biden is the rightful president. It doesn't mean that 70% of them think that, Donald walks on water and JFK is going to roll down the road at Dallas. Hey, if I have any viewers in Dallas, can you let me know if those guys are still standing on the corners there and still waiting for the return of one of the best known Democratic presidents of your history to make a return so he can help who returned to office. Okay, hey, I'm just asking. I don't live in Dallas. I don't live in Texas. If somebody could let me know, I'd appreciate that. So this is where he's at right now, and there is not a way for him to escape. And you know what? It's really strange, because this makes me feel as if he thinks if he can just delay and put things off and keep on spouting this stuff, that it's almost like he is at a place where he truly believes what he believes, and so therefore he believes this. Okay, this is what's scary about this grouping of cards, is he actually believes this. He believes what he says. In part, maybe, I think, because lawyers, okay, and even though that was Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, but lawyers were saying that it was true. And for him, it very much feels as if, like, well, if the lawyer said it, it must be true. I am not a lawyer. I don't have that education. I'm not going to question their knowledge, their authority, what they think and believe. So for him, he really does see this as a truth, as a reality. And he doesn't yet understand that he is going to continue to lose what support he has. He is going to keep pumping money in to these ridiculous ideas and schemes. And all it's going to do is put him in frankly, a bigger tower moment. He's going to create mini towers all through his life, whether that's personally, whether that's legally, whether that's for his business. For whatever it is, it definitely feels like in some ways he's sort of knocking the foundation out from under the tower, and so therefore it's not going to have any other option but to collapse on him. His emotions right now are bordering on, okay, not well. They're bordering on being a little, delusional. I think in some of his more lucid moments, he wonders what he's gotten himself into, and he wonders if he can get himself out. Except there's this bigger part of him that wants to believe. It's a funny thing, because when you step into his energy, he wants to be one of the boys. He wants to be part of that in crowd. He wants to be part of that inner circle. Now, I don't know, but I personally haven't heard any reports of good old Mike hanging out at Mar-a-Lago with, that guy. So it's interesting, because it doesn't actually feel as if he is still part of that inner club. He might be, I don't know. But whatever it is, this is part of what motivates him, is he really, he got a little taste of, having access to the Oval Office. And now he doesn't want to let that go. Yeah, his emotions are starting to get all over the map. And you know, he only listens at this point. He only listens to the people who believe him. He only listens to the people who think the way he thinks. And so, even though his beliefs aren't based in anything objective, only subjective, but he continues to get reinforced by those people who also don't want to let go of what they believe. And ultimately, the law's coming for him. Ultimately, he's going to pay a very heavy price for the behaviors. He's going to lose. Um, he's going to lose a lot, and it's simply because he didn't know when to stop already. And it's not good. It's not good. Yeah, there is going to be no independence for him, and he's going to find himself really in a weakened state where he's not going to actually be able to it's like he's not really going to be able to put the genie back, in the bottle. He can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. He's going to be so well connected, I guess, to all of the nonsense that it's only going to be the extreme right that will continue to listen to him, have them on her programs, etc. And make no mistake, the second he even loses that audience, whatever in he has with Donald is, frankly, if it hasn't completely closed, that hole hasn't closed, it absolutely will, because he's not doing anything that's actually helping the cause, okay? He's not finding the proof he swore up and down was up there. So, yeah, so that's what we have there. Now, let's look at the mayor, shall we? Let's look at what's going on in his world. So he is in so much trouble. As far as I know, his license has not been revoked in the state of New York, but it certainly has been suspended at this point. I don't think he's made any significant sort of defense of that. And certainly now this news coming out about the fake electoral votes, and, it's got his fingerprints all over it, cannot be good. And of course, there is the fact that as near as we can figure, he's out of money. Last I heard, he's hawking T-shirts. I honestly, I wish I could. I can't remember what the picture is on the front, but it's him with two other people. I don't know, maybe who knows who. And he's going to autograph them individually, and the T-shirts apparently are on sale for like $495. Like, wow. I mean, let's just stop and think about it. I don't care how loyal you are. Do you really want to be walking around with his face on your chest? Not to mention the other two faces. God, I'm sure one of them was Trump. I just don't know who the other one was. Hell, for all I know, it could have been Putin. All right, let's take a look. Okay. Trajectory, Rudy Giuliani. Trajectory, Rudy Giuliani. Trajectory, Rudy Giuliani. All right, here we go. He's embattled. So he's another one that is finding out that his words have consequences. It's not something he actually likes to think about very often. You know, he liked it well and good when it was politically advantageous to him, for him, etc. But he's finding out now that those consequences kind of are coming home to roost. And it's putting him in a position where it feels very much as if he's at odds with a lot of the people around him. So I don't know, is he at odds with his lawyers? Is he at odds with um, the media? Is he, is he still struggling to figure out how to pay some of these bills that he, so willingly ran up for, Donald? And where does that put you now? Um, it's interesting because a lot of people have sort of talked about him as having dementia or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think he's a little off, but I got to tell you, I think in some ways he is more lucid or more aware of the pitfalls or the ramifications as opposed to like a Mike Lindell. It feels like he's sort of a little bit out of the loop here. He has so what was once respect for the law, what was once um, certainly as the attorney general, he mastered the law. Well, now he fears the law. For him, it is a frightening thing, and in part because he's realizing that unlike Balfour, where his words actually had some power, he doesn't have any clout. He doesn't have the people or the resources or the talent to change the existing narrative. And the information about the electoral vote has sort of really it feels like it's put him in a bit of a tailspin because um, there isn't a really great way for him to justify or excuse or frankly even explain, because when he talks about this ridiculous notion of, well, in case they weren't accepted by Mike Pence or whatever, and then it could be, none of it is constitutional, and frankly none of it even makes realistic sense. There's a lot about himself, honestly, that he doesn't want to look at. It's interesting that you've got the hermit with the high priestess on top of it. So he doesn't really want to examine how his life has gotten to where his life has gotten to. It very much feels like, in some ways, he just chooses to listen to his own narrative. Listen, you've got the page, you've got the knight, you've got the ace of wands. This is all about communication, and it's about really at this point not doing it very well. Okay, it's about appearing foolish, appearing childish, appearing like he doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. And there, of course, comes the law. And so it's interesting. He's got both the Queen and the King of Swords. And so it very much feels like where it comes to matters of the law, he is not going to do well. There's going to be some options that he has. He's not going to be interested in any of them. He's going to be far more interested in, at least initially, kind of continuing to push the narrative that he did nothing wrong, that it was all within the law. And that's not going to get him very far. He has no support. Like, he doesn't have the support that he used to have, whether that was in years gone by with his previous, sort of incarnations as a mayor, as an attorney general. He doesn't have the support that he had 3 years ago and 4 years ago and 2 years ago and 1 year ago. He doesn't have it anymore. And so those around him look at him as somebody whose world is about to implode and collapse, and they are distancing themselves. So not only is he in a really not good place, like financially and emotionally, it feels as if he is also quite isolated. And he doesn't have, and unfortunately, you've got the Tower and you've got the Wheel of Fortune, and that's just not good. And you've got the Eight of Cups. So this is the reality. The world that he has built is going to come. The world that he has built is really going to come crashing down. Any how can I say this? It feels as if like anything that could go wrong is going to go wrong. Okay, it feels as if his luck has completely run out, and because again, in some ways, he's being held to a higher standard because he's a lawyer. He knows the law. He practiced the law, and that doesn't go well with people who then are adjudicating something a lawyer has done that is not within the boundaries of the law. He's ultimately going to walk away. I mean, I don't mean walk away free and clear. I mean, he's going to have to at some point just simply walk away from the nonsense, from the illusions, and the delusions. But it's not going to be, it's not going to be easy for him because, of course, at the 7 and the 8 of Cups. So you've got, again, those illusions, those delusions, that mixed up thinking, and that's going to cause him ultimately to have to walk away from everything that he has ever had or accumulated, including his reputation. I don't see this ending well for him. His partnership with Donald has been an absolute disaster. And frankly, even his partnership with Republicans has been an absolute disaster. And ultimately, the law is going to come for him, and he's going to be in trouble. Yeah, it's just not going to go well for him either. Okay, so there we have it. It looks like those people who continue to function in that state of illusion and delusion are not going to fare so well. And as their stories continue to crumble and come apart, you're going to see some erratic behavior, I think, from them. You're going to see some really nonsensical nonsense coming out of their mouths. But in the final analysis, they're not going to have what it takes to actually escape unscathed. All right, so there we have it. So it's a Friday. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the support of the channel. It's so appreciated. I'm so grateful for it. And I want you all to have a good weekend. Take some time to decompress. Shake off some of the crazy of the world. And be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. In this world we live in, all of that good positive energy is really, really important. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.